All right, all right. Happy New Year.
Happy
Wow.
New Year.
You, and all of you.
Wow.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
You didn't like the other hat I brought. You like that one better.
Well, this one fits into the square.
I
Uh,
see. Got it.
so
Okay.
it's
Makes sense.
yeah. Get your picture early because I'll be taking the hat and glasses off in a minute.
Well, that's a good thing about being able to watch the show live again
Right?
Yep.
on recording.
There you go. Well, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Hope everybody had a great holiday. Um, it's been good and bad, right? It's we lost a couple of our really cool people in life early on, and then we had a tragic accident the other night in the football game.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's it didn't end well, and it's not starting very well. So I'm hoping for a lot of improvement. Um, I think we've got encouraging words on uh, number three,
Yep.
which
More help.
all we can do is pray for. Um, there's a lot of encouraging words. He's starting to his oxygen level, which is vitally important, is getting better. So hopefully this time tomorrow, maybe he'll be breathing on his own. So
Yeah.
we'll keep our fingers crossed and continue with a lot of prayers. And I don't know about you guys. I know I'm older than most. I've never seen anything quite like it.
No.
I mean, we've all witnessed a bunch of injuries and couple of different things, but I've never saw anything quite like that. We'll dig into it a little bit, but I want to throw it over to John so we can. Fantasy football is winding down, and Johnny, why don't you give us as much of an update as you can?
All right. Well, yeah. Obviously, Damar Hamlin's injury there has a little bit of fantasy football on hold right at the moment, which is completely understandable and not a big deal in the fantasy football wise isn't a big deal in the grand scheme of this whole thing. So we are probably just going to hold off right now on the scoring for this week and see if they do play this game, and then we'll have the games adjusted at that point for the scores. And if the game's not played, there is partial scores for the game. So
Okay.
we're just going to use those scores for the game and go from there. It's nothing like any other injury type of thing. If a player starts gets hurt in the game and you miss out on a score. So and remember, everybody gets to throw out 1 week or 4 weeks. So it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. That this game is what it is for scores.
Okay.
So I mean, it helps you out though, Carl, because the viewers had 4 or 5 players playing for Monday night, so that will help you out in your contest. But not that you needed it because you were kicking butt anyway. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. We're just going to go on to week 18 like the NFL is right now, and go from there and keep the scores going. I have all the scores, tallied up for as if it was the end today. And then if we need to adjust it, that's what whiteout's for, and you can, adjust the scores.
Okay.
And then
we'll have this time next week. We'll have a winner.
Well, possibly because it depends on when they play. If they play that, well, we'll have an answer at least as far as whether or not they're playing, that makeup game or not.
And then we do a playoff pool as well.
Then we'll be right into the playoffs, and with this one for the playoffs, you do one vote like we did, the past 3 years. You vote one time, and your team stays on and until the end, and we just tally up the scores each week. The scores get multiplied out a little bit to help out for the people that may not play in the first week due to the buys.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's always a fun time. So
Okay. All right. Very good.
word out to everybody.
It's been a great year with fantasy football, with the better part of 60 players every week.
Yeah.
So it's been consistent. A couple of great prizes. I'm sure that had an impact on people playing every week and stayed with it, which is very cool. So hopefully we'll bring closure to that next Wednesday night because we'll be back. We'll be back here again before we hit the happy trails.
Absolutely. Yep.
So. It's good to be back, to have us all back together in a nice, warm, cozy environment. Wouldn't you say, Lauren?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
John didn't want you to forget the sign, so he included the sign. So
right. That's a good looking sign.
Yes, it is. It helped that I forgot the other signs today. So
there you go.
This makes up for it.
Mm-hmm.
From Tinseltown with love.
Exactly. Yep. It was our thing hanging over our head for the past month.
Mm-hmm. But in a good way.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, it was.
Lauren, why don't you give us just a short, quick, what it was like out there in, would you say 37 days?
37 days. Yep. We weren't technically open all those 37 days, but that was the span from we started on Black Friday through New Year's Eve.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know about you, John. I had a lot of fun. It
Absolutely.
was great just seeing a couple of familiar faces, but meeting a lot of new people that either knew where Havertown was and thought they knew about the store or had no idea we even existed. So that was cool to just kind of bring that to everyone's attention. Getting in the Christmas spirit, no better way than to spend most of it at Tinseltown.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we definitely had some disappointing days where the weather got the better of it and we weren't able to open a few days. But other than that, I thought it was a lot of fun. I drank a lot of spiked hot chocolate, so that was an added bonus. It was great.
I don't know about you, but I still got the Christmas songs running in my ears.
I think it's weird though. I felt like the music would be louder.
Right. It wasn't loud. Right.
Yeah, it wasn't loud, but it was definitely the same 12 to 15 songs.
Right. Exactly.
On repeat. But luckily it wasn't loud.
Right.
Or I think that could have been even more exciting.
Yeah, you got to walk around. Was it more loud up towards
Yes.
the skating area? Right.
Yes, it was louder, especially up where the kids dance area was, which makes sense. Yeah, louder in certain areas, but definitely not as loud near us. So I was okay with that.
Right.
All right. Well, Brian Brown's throwing out a quick question about the Sixers already and Joel Embiid not playing tonight. Lauren, did you have any info on that?
I don't know. I don't have any info on that. It doesn't surprise me.
I heard right before we went live that it was a sore foot issue. Sounds like a maintenance day off for me, for him.
I mean, he took that pretty bad fall Monday night in that game and had trouble. I think he might have limped off the court when we were watching it. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me to see this. So hopefully it's nothing more than that, but
yeah,
that's why I hate anytime he hits the ground.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to dig into.
3 guys aren't meant to hit the ground.
We'll dig into our Sixer segment in a little bit here, but I just wanted to get the fantasy football on live tape to get everybody brought up to speed where we're at and where we're going and what we got, and the Tinseltown thing, which was huge for Carl's Cards this year. It was a new business venture that Lauren came up with. through her travels with the Philadelphia Flyers, and it was great for everybody. We talked to other vendors there, and they did as well, and we did very well. So it's something that we can hopefully look forward to next year.
Technically later this year.
Right.
That's right. We're already January, huh?
Yep.
We got a busy year. We got a really, really busy year. We got a lot of stuff going on. Hey, Anthony, I know you've been laying low, and you had a couple of weeks off, and you're back to work now. And what's the view look like from the press box of that center field hole?
It looks like there's a hole, but now it's got steel erected around it. So it looks like the steel is up for both the first floor and what would be the second floor. Other than that, it's nothing's changed, but that went up pretty quick. That all happened within like a week or so. And they have about 98 days left. So I would imagine they're going to start moving here pretty quickly to get everything else ready so that, the facade itself is all set up and good to go because they have to rebuild the outfield wall as well.
Right.
So, I imagine it looks like they're on track. They probably wanted to get the foundation and the steel down before the ground got too cold. And luckily we've had some warm days, so they've been working every day.
Yeah.
Could a home run hit that building?
Yes, but there will be nets in front of it, like a
Got
net.
it.
Yep.
And for
the
those
home run will be above, sort of going to be like a level of pads for the lower outfield billboards.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be a second level of pads with a window in between. So I guess the players can sort of see out if they're in their locker rooms or whatever.
okay.
The home run would be above that second level of billboards.
So we're talking a 400-foot blast.
Yeah. And I mean,
Bryce Harper, Ryan Howard home run.
Yeah, I mean, it might be in a little bit from that. The wall might be in a little bit further than what it was before in order to fit the structure in. But still, in order to hit it there, yeah, it's going to be a pretty big shot.
Nice.
Because of
So
the
like
height of
Derek
the
Hall
ceiling.
was still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Derek Hall was there, I mean, he'd hit a lot over the pool. But if he's hitting the straight center, he's got to make sure it's up because the wall's much higher.
Right.
But it should be nice. It's hard to kind of get too excited just yet till you kind of see what it's going to look like on the inside. Right now, it just looks like a bunch of steel beams, but you can see where they're going, and it's exciting.
Nice.
And for those, because I did a really poor job of introducing Anthony and Baseball Town and the Reading Fighting Phils, this is the expansion that they're going through this year, and I guess part of next year as well.
Yeah, this year the building itself will be up, but it's more of like a facade. There's like a movie set structure. And then it's going to take until about spring of next year to have all the insides finished. So the floors, the HVAC, the electrical, all that stuff. The bottom floor will be players' amenities. So it's going to be expanded clubhouses, female locker room, trainers' rooms, kitchen areas, meditation rooms, all this stuff that, they need now. And then the second floor will be sort of a banquet room for us. And then, which is great to have a room that can hold up to 550 people for events year round. And then next year, it sounds like the Phillies are going to go ahead and probably build some new batting tunnels and maybe change the bullpen so they're not on the field itself. They would be out closer to the video board. So this is sort of just half of it. And then hopefully by the time 2024 happens, everything will be fully in place.
Very good. Very good. There's our Baseball Town update. We haven't had one for a while. And that's brought to you by Anthony Pignetti and the Reading Fighting Phils. So what's happening on the ticket front? Because I noticed they're pushing tickets pretty heavy with ticket book specials and whatnot. Is that something that we can share?
Yeah, no, I mean, they usually have done that normally towards Christmas time. We used to get books that were pre-printed that you would sort of buy. And now we're sort of doing something similar, but it's tickets that, we're just printing out there itself. So there used to be like a mad rush right around Christmas. Now it's sort of spread out a little bit more because you don't have to hope that the books are sold out. We can sort of print them at any time. But it's been good. I mean, people are excited about the Phillies, which always, sort of trickles down to us, which is good. But I think they're just trying to get them out. We had a new set of interns that came in this week, so they've been busy trying to do some of those smaller calls to get their feet wet a little bit. So it's good. Everything's just very, very hectic because it was quiet for a while. Now it's like go, 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 go. And so you're up against the clock, but
the push is on.
Yeah, it's not something we're not used to.
Okay. All right. Lauren, while we're throwing all of our great companies that we work with throughout the year, give us an update on UMaine, Pennsylvania.
Sure. So we wrapped up our 2022 year last week and finished with adopting out over 2,500 animals. So that's pretty great between our Lancaster and Berks locations. Most recently, we hosted a 12 days of adoptions promotion, which led right up to Christmas Eve, just trying to clear out the shelters ahead of the holidays. So for 12 days straight, we waive all adoption fees. We were able to adopt out 113 animals during that 12-day time frame, which is pretty good. So that took us over 2,500 animals for the year. We finished up giving out close to 150,000 pounds of pet food to folks in need in between Berks and Lancaster counties, but we also do some drives. If we have a bulk amount of food, we'll bring it to other shelters that might need support and things like that. But close to 150,000 pounds of pet food is certainly a lot of pet food to move throughout the year. So we're looking forward to another good year ahead of us. We got a lot of big changes coming to the Lancaster area specifically. We're going to be doing a lot more boots on the ground work there like we've been doing in Reading. It's time to expand those services to Lancaster. So we're looking forward to that. And our next big fundraiser will be the walk, which will be May 6th at Jim Dietrich Park in Reading. So soon my team and I will start planning for that. But that's our next big event.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff out of Berks County. Good to have you guys back live on the show and get us some updates. So good to hear. Where do we want to go sports wise? We got a lot of hot topics. We've got an awful lot of hot topics. John, where do you want to go? I'll let you be the ringleader here.
Well, let's jump in with the Eagles. We'll get.
How did I guess? Well, I
mean, we're all eagled up here, and we're going to be wrapping up the number one seed. This on Sunday. We got our leader back. Jalen Hurts will be back at the helm, and everything's going to be fine. We'll be back on schedule, and
you're guaranteeing this fan's view and all the fans a win.
Yeah, we win this week. Yeah. They're it's not going to not that it's going to be easy, but they'll get right back in there, and it'll end up working out in the long run because now Jalen doesn't have his rust factor. He's going to be playing this week, and that everybody was worried about going into the playoffs in 2 weeks from now that he was going to have a rest period. Layup, I don't know. I mean, it could be. I don't know that the Giants play a lot of players. You hear both ways. I mean, I think it's a divisional game like we were talking about earlier in the store here today. They're going to want to get back at us as well. And if they could do anything to knock us out, they would do that.
Well, that's my thinking. You know what I mean?
But you also got to think about it too. They got to get ready for next week because they're playing next week. For a playoff game.
And for a team, let's break this up. Let's look at this because the Giants weren't even expected to be a playoff team this year, right?
No.
Here they are. They found a way into the playoffs. regardless of who they play, where they play, they're getting into the playoffs. This is a first-year coach,
Right.
and they've done some good things.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They've done some good things. They've won some games that they weren't supposed to, and they've got the opportunity Sunday, to do more great things.
Right.
And I just don't think that coach, is just gonna, do a handoff and say, here you go, Philly, here's your victory, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, no, you're right on that, because Dable is a guy that wants to play to win. But you also have to do what's best for your team for next week. You're going to be going up. I think they're going to be the 7th seed, I think, 6th seed, I think. So they're going to end up playing the 49ers or the Cowboys. No, it would be
49ers or the
Packers.
Vikings. Well, yeah, no, the Vikings will get a bye, right?
No, hopefully it's just the Eagles. There's only one bye this year.
Okay. All right.
So
it'll either be the Cowboys or Vikings.
Well, the Cowboys will be playing the Buccaneers, and then the whoever sneaks in, if it's the Packers, the Packers will play the Vikings, and then
Shawnee's saying they're locked in at 6.
Right. So the 6 will be they'll be playing the 3 seed, which will be either Washington or the 49ers or Minnesota, depending on how that works out this week.
Right.
So one of those two teams they'll play. Right at the moment it's been right at the moment it's Minnesota, but the 49ers have a chance.
That can all change.
Right. Well, actually, the 49ers are in second place right at the moment.
Right.
Right now it'll be the 49ers, and then could be Minnesota depending on what happens. I mean, there's a lot to play for. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like the Eagles last year. For the Giants. I mean, we didn't end up playing anybody the last week when we had the playoff spot in. They may play for a half and that's it.
Well, that was my next question. Who will we see, and how long will we see them?
Well, hopefully the Eagles. I mean, hopefully the Eagles will get out to a good start and we don't need them in the second half. Just get Jalen Hurts out. And,
all right, I'll throw this scenario at you. It's 14-14 at halftime.
Oh well, Jalen's playing the whole game. At that point, you got to win. You got to win. I don't know. At that point, 14-14, they may call off the dogs themselves. And pull out Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Type of thing. And I think one of their defensive linemen, Williamson, I think has a little bit of a nagging injury right at the moment. So they might pull him out of the game as well, because they're playing again next week. It doesn't, no matter what happens, it's not going to affect them record wise or standing wise. They're locked in at that 6th spot. So,
right. Just a matter of, a statement game.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, if they could, come in and do what they need to do early, then it could be, a bigger battle for the Eagles. But I think with everybody being healthy and if, Jalen Hurts gets out there, we should be fine. I don't know that he's going to run around as much as we've seen in the past, just with that shoulder, because that shoulder's a little bit more banged up than people realize. Not that it's major, but that he can't throw, because we've seen he was able to throw afterwards. But I don't know that he's going to run the ball as much as we've seen.
Lauren, Anthony, you guys got any input? What are you looking for?
I mean, yes, they have to win, but do they have to win?
Well, if they don't, then they drop to the 5th seed.
Okay.
There's a big separation from 1 to 5.
And then they're playing all their games on the road.
Okay.
Then they'd have to play. Then they had to play Tampa Bay in the first round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back in Tampa Bay.
A loss on Sunday would absolutely be devastating.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree, because just because you had that momentum high going. You're going. You're the number
Well,
one seed.
you were undefeated, and
Right.
you've now lost 2 in a row. And if you drop a third, and this happens to your, taking your number 1 seed away, your home field advantage, having a week off, now playing a tougher opponent on their field, devastating loss.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
But we as Eagle fans, we don't want to think like that. Shawnee's calling it a layup. John's guaranteeing a victory.
I've heard a layup for the last 3 weeks now.
Well,
so these layups are about as good as Ben Simmons. So I don't. I mean, when does it actually happen?
Well, unfortunately, the backup quarterback happened to come in there. So,
well, I heard Carson Wentz is going to be looking for a backup quarterback job. So,
whoa,
you're ready to bring him back?
Whoa.
I mean,
No.
No, but Minshew's not. That's not.
I would not bring him back.
Not a reliable. I think he's now proven himself as not a very reliable backup quarterback.
Well, yeah, Minshew is what he is, as a backup, and
I'm gonna pull the Minshew card because he hasn't played, he hasn't gotten any live reps, and we just throw him into you throw him into the fire. Did he look like crap? Sure, he looked like a guy who hasn't played.
Right.
He hasn't played at all. And correct me if I'm wrong, because there's people in this room and there's people on this board tonight that have called for Jalen to be taken out of the game early when a lot of those games were already decided.
Right.
And put him in. And they elected not to.
Exactly.
So, I'm not here to defend Minshew. I'm here as an Eagles fan. I want to win Sunday and move on and great things. But I'm very, very concerned. The injuries have mounted. They've mounted fast and furious, and we've lost some key components. One that we're overlooking big time is Josh Sweat on the defensive line.
Yeah, that one last week hurt.
That's huge. That's huge up there. Our D-backs, have taken a couple of hits. It's been for a team that was 13-0,
right? 31, yeah,
right, 13-1, and all of a sudden all these injuries have just taken their toll. You're losing Lane Johnson, right? You got Lane. When you get him back, how effective is he going to be?
Right. Well, that's going to be the big thing. Pass defense or pass blocking is going to be the problem, I think, for him. Being stretching out that stomach, the abdominal there. I mean, he might be able to run block because he's pushing forward if he can, but it's just a matter of time before you torque that, it's just a matter of how much he'd be able to play once he starts.
Yeah. I'll throw another one at you. Shawnee brought it to everyone's attention Sunday that Miles Sanders had a knee brace on.
Right.
I know the knee brace is probably for protection against a, further, deepening, an injured knee already. But, my God, he had 2 running plays the first half?
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
So
yeah, 12 for the game, 12 touches. I mean,
I've got a lot of concerns for Sunday, and Lauren witnessed New Year's Eve and probably some of my neighbors as well. I was not happy with that performance. Up and down the lineup, I mean, that defense was on the field the whole first half.
Right.
That was a disgrace. That you could not figure out a way to grab a third down and keep the offense on the field. It was devastating. Blame it on the coordinators, blame it on the head coach, blame it on me, blame it on whoever you want. That was horrendous.
Yeah. Oh, it was. And I think hopefully that gives them a little wake up call. That they just can't step on the court, on the field, and they're going to win. It's.
But
I
saying,
think,
saying all that, John, right? How good has the defense been?
I mean, people say that it's good. The past couple of weeks, and I don't know. You see them, all, giving up. They only gave up 13 points. Everybody wants to, go back to, but 9 minutes on that first drive, but they had them out there for, and that hurts. It accumulates throughout the whole game, and they gave up 40 points to the Cowboys.
They got some big voids. Big guys that they're missing.
Right.
The linebackers through the first half of the season were playing really, really well. It was like, we reinvented that position. Now all of a sudden they've disappeared again. Well,
Gannon's kind of dropping back to his old ways now that the safeties, once Maddox got hurt and CJ Gardner-Johnson got, with the two of them going out, he went back to his, prevent defense, there a little bit, and you can't allow Andy Dalton to go 18 for 22 against you.
No,
I mean,
no. Is CJ back this week? Is that somebody we can look for?
They just opened up his 21-day practice thing, so he could possibly, yes, but I don't know. I mean, it all depends. He hasn't played in 5 weeks now.
Right. Yep.
So I mean, hopefully he gets a little bit of action, but lacerated, was it kidney or liver? I mean, it's some serious stuff that you're dealing with. So I mean, it's not like you jump back and you're right back at full strength. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Anthony, what do you got? You're awful quiet. Give us your opinion.
I do know how much you love football.
I got nothing. They're gonna be all right. They'll win, and then they'll be good to go. That's all.
I feel like we heard the same thing with the Phillies.
And how did they do? Pretty well.
They went to the Super Bowl or the World Series. So
yeah, so they'll be all right. I mean, the backup quarterback didn't have the best game in the world, but that's what a backup quarterback is. It would be great to have someone that's a little bit better. But at this point, you're hoping he doesn't play anymore anyway. He doesn't get to play anymore. He's done for the year. So hopefully Jalen feels well and doesn't re-injure himself, because that would be the worst if you had to have Minshew in the playoffs. But overall, I mean, I feel like if you're going to be injured, you might as well be injured now. And by the time you get to the playoffs, you got to make yourself ready, even if you are hurt. So I think they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Lauren, any last minute thoughts on the Birds?
No, I don't think so. I'm just waiting for that layup.
You don't care who it's from, right? Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. You don't care.
Nope.
How about a long distance three pointer for the easy win?
That too.
Certainly, if we have time, we can always come back and talk more Birds and for a season. I'll leave you guys with this thought. We were undefeated, and we were making things look so easy, and everybody was so excited on Monday mornings, and I mean, we had bragging rights to everything, and now all of a sudden, the tables got flipped on us.
Yeah, well, I mean, just look you're going into week 18, you're 13-3, and you have nothing locked up.
Exactly.
Where can that only happen? Only here in Philadelphia. You have a 13-3 season, and you're worrying about, are we going to be the 1 seed or are we going to be the 5 seed? And it's just crazy. How things are lined up this year.
Unbelievably crazy. But we kept saying it. They're playing good ball. They're injury free.
Right.
They're making plays when necessary, and getting, a good year out of Jalen Hurts. He'd come a long way, and, we begged for several of those games to get him out of there early, because we didn't see a need for him to play garbage minutes.
Yeah.
And I hate to keep harping on it, but it's coming back to bite us in the ass.
Oh yeah.
Not just with Jalen, because you had other guys that, your veteran guys, guys like Cox and Brandon Graham, they don't play every snap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They stay fresh.
Yeah. There's your O-line, you know what I mean? And, they're playing every snap, and, it's just, I don't know. It's like you said, I'm hoping for the victory on Sunday for sure. It's a 4:25 game. That's confirmed,
yes, it is.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and and like Shawnee said, they're a 14-point favorite. So I mean, it's that's telling you something right there when Vegas puts out a 14-point line. That's telling you that the Giants aren't playing anybody, even from the start. To have a 14-point spread
at the
there.
beginning of the year, they didn't have anybody, so
but
all right.
So yeah, no, things will be fine. We'll be talking next Wednesday, and we're doom and gloom right now, not knowing what's going to happen, and then we're going to see. As long as Jalen gets through the game healthy and looking good, back to himself, everything will be good in Philadelphia.
So I'll throw one last scenario at you. 14-0 at halftime. Does he play the second half?
No. I mean, I'm assuming that the Giants don't have anybody in themselves if they're up 14-0 at that point.
Right.
No.
Okay. All right. Just trying to wrap this around my head. You know what I mean? Like
And if the Giants aren't playing anybody, I would hope the score is a little bit more than 14-0.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
At halftime.
All right. All right. Let's move on to some b-ball. I know Anthony's itching to talk basketball.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. The Sixers have been all right. I don't have anything crazy to say. Nothing super negative or nothing super positive.
Right.
I feel like they've
won 10 of the last 12.
Yeah, but they're supposed to, right? I feel like they're supposed to. I don't know. The Sixers are a little tough for me until I see that they, when Joel's not in, like for example, I don't know if he's playing tonight or not, but if he's not, can they win without him? Same questions you always had. And if he does play and he scores 40-plus points like he did the other night, my concern is his health for the course of the year and who fills in that gap. I mean, they added some guys like Tucker and some guys on the bench and things like that. I don't know that I feel like they're a team that's going to win the championship this year. The Sixers feel to me like there's just always something a little bit missing. And then you see the Nets, like the Nets are playing tonight. They just won 12 or 13 games in a row. Yep. And people had those guys written off. So it's really all a matter of staying healthy. If you can keep Joel healthy, great. The other problem is with people know who Joel is, so you triple team him. You better hope someone else is making a shot. I mean, the Sixers got a good amount of guys on the bench. Tobias Harris will have a big game when so-and-so is not playing. Someone will have a big game when so-and-so is not playing. And then I feel like I don't see the guys for a while once Maxey and Embiid and all those guys come back. You gotta play Reed a little bit more. You got to play some of these guys a little bit more. I don't know if Doc does a great job of spreading it out like he should. If someone's hot, keep them in. If they're not, take them out. But they have a really big bench, and I don't know how good some of the players are because you don't really ever see them, honestly.
Well, they're going with 3 guards for the starting lineup tonight. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're still exciting to watch a lot of times. They're still fun to watch. I mean, it looks like it's still full down there. I don't have the same excitement as I did a couple years ago. I wouldn't say it's lost. I feel like it's sort of at a.
What do you think changed?
I feel like it's just at a standstill because they haven't won a meaningful playoff series.
They can't get out of the second round.
Right. Like I can go to this game tonight, right, and spend $400 for 2 tickets and have a really, really good time. But to get me interested in them further to buy jerseys and this and that, you gotta get through the playoffs. You gotta show that you're gonna win. I mean, Joel Embiid is great, but you got to win a championship. If you don't win a championship this year, which I don't know if they're going to, because they don't impress me that much more than they were last year. They feel like the same team for the most part. Harden, you hear rumors about him going to Houston. Is he going to stay? Do you build the team around Maxey and Embiid? Do you, God forbid, which no one wants to say, do you get rid of Embiid while he's healthy and get a million pieces for him? I don't know what to do with this. If they don't win this year, I don't know what you do with the team.
It does. It does feel like game after game, year after year, Embiid scores 40 points, player of the month, player of the whatever. We win this, we win that, and then we're out. It feels like I'm just the same song. It's just on repeat, probably the last 3 years now.
I don't know if it's the coach or if it's people know Joel Embiid. So in a regular season.
But he still does well. I mean, they know him, but he still scores 40 points.
Right. But right now, if you beat the Pacers and Joel Embiid scores 40 points, it's not a huge deal because it's a regular season game. In the playoffs, when it's time to play, they're going to come and they're going to block him hard. And you have to be ready for that. You have to make sure that Tobias Harris is going to hit his shot or Korkmaz is going to hit a shot or someone for threes, Niang's going to hit a shot. I just don't feel that confident in some of the times that they have that, I feel like guys like that, guys,
there's a guy limping already,
Thibault or whoever the heck that is
limping out there already.
People just missing open shots. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't excited. I wouldn't say that they couldn't win the championship, but do you see them beating some of those other teams? I don't know. I don't know.
It depends on the night.
I don't feel like they've added enough to it. And I feel like if Joel's not there, sometimes they step up, sometimes they don't. They're just a weird team to get a grasp.
Didn't Giannis have a 70-point night last night or something?
Yeah. I mean, and he's a different cat too. I mean, he's a big guy, not as big as Joel, but he could shoot out there. He's a guy that you could certainly build a team around. Joel, I feel like he's just, he's great. I just get worried every single time. He loves to hit the ground. He loves jumping on the ground. And
other night he did like an extra few rolls on the
like
ground.
he was breakdancing or something.
Yeah,
just like extra amount of movement on. Just stand back up.
And that's funny in theory, but how many times have you seen a kicker get hurt because he did a jump or something stupid?
Yeah,
I mean,
he had 55 points last night, Giannis.
Yeah. I'm saying let's say they get through a round or two, or they something similar that they have been. What is the plan next year? James Harden is going to go back to Houston to retire. What do you do about Embiid and Maxey? Is that enough? I don't feel like that's enough to win it. The other thing is separately, I know no team plays defense, but they were talking about ESPN earlier about when the Bulls and the Jazz played in the playoffs in 1998, and not one of those games did anyone score over 100 points because people were playing defense.
Right.
It's just who can score 132 to 131. Does that mean you're that better, or just no team can play defense and they're just shooting up shots?
Yeah.
It just it's a different game.
Yeah, much different. Everything's 3-point this, 3-point that.
I mean, I don't mind Joel Embiid taking a 3-pointer every now and then, but he can't be set up out there. If you're set up out there, you can't get a rebound. You can't. No one could dish it to you. I mean,
I don't know. That's the new analytics though with basketball because they don't want you to get the offensive rebound because they're worried about getting back on defense.
But if you're as big as Joel Embiid, can't you just sit him down there the whole time and just feed him the ball and he just throws it in?
Yeah, but he's too valuable. He's too valuable to put 50 points a night up, and that's he's not going to do that down under the basket. It's just not going to happen.
That and if he's down underneath of the boards trying to get the rebounds, they're going to fast break us, and he's not going to be able to get back there enough, or he's going to be worn out halfway through the game if he's going to be doing that. And
do you feel like he's a guy that they can build this team around, or is at this point it's we need to either get a new coach or get a new something, or what's the actual issue? I mean, you can't tell right now. The problem is not right now. They'll win 10 games in a row, and then they'll lose 2, and then they'll win another 10, and they'll look great they'll be in the second or third seed.
Yeah, I think this is a very important year for everybody, coach, GM, players, because they've made the investment. They've spent a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Harden denies the rumor of wanting to go back to Houston. Don't know where that rumor came from. signed a 2-year deal here for, I don't know, $68 bazillion. And, he's being overpaid as far as I'm concerned for what he does every night.
I heard it came from one of the strip club managers. They were having a little hard time down there. They were going to go bankrupt. So he started the rumor.
Okay. All right. Well, he is a gentleman's club fan. So, but hey, I got a real quick question because Shawnee threw up the Vegas knows quote on the board. Whatever happened to Vegas? Did he don't like us anymore? Or
oh no, he's on. He's got a job where he's working at nights.
Oh, that's the excuse.
That's the excuse. Yeah. Well, maybe it's not nice because it's still afternoon out there in Vegas,
right?
Yeah. So
what name does he go under now?
It's still Vegas Stott. Vegas Stott.
So. Vegas Stott. All right. I just because he wanted to own the show a few weeks back, and
I know.
Now he's played magician and disappeared.
Yeah, work's getting in the way for him.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I thought he went out to Vegas and so he didn't have to work.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but
all right, so the Sixers are home tonight to the Pacers, and they're down early, but it is early. It's the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much.
Doesn't mean a whole lot.
But to answer your question, Anthony, about Embiid, I don't know. It's a tough question. It's like he is so good, but he can't close games out. So it's like you need that extra piece to go with them to be able to close the games out, and I don't know that we have that.
But is it a disservice sometimes that Michael Jordan had games where he scored 50 points a lot of times, but sometimes he also scored 20 points and someone else scored a bunch. I mean, The problem is if you shut down Joel Embiid, you're pretty much shutting down this team because you're not really scared of anyone. Tyrese Maxey might dribble by and make a couple shots, but other than him, who the heck are you scared of on that team? I mean, I get these teams today with the Lakers, and they're not a great example, but Golden State bringing all these guys in, but they're bringing in really good players that if someone double teams one guy, another guy can make it.
Right.
You double team, triple team Joel Embiid, I'm not that confident that Thibauld's going to make a shot or Tobias. I'm not 100% he's going to make an open shot.
Tobias is stepping up better, but I know what you're saying.
They got like a deep bench. I just don't know how good it is. Also, I don't see most of the guys on the bench ever get any playing time. So how the hell would you know?
Right. Yeah.
All right. So hopefully Jack is still on with us tonight to talk a little Flyers because they're coming back home tomorrow night after a 3-game winning streak on the West Coast. Who saw that coming?
Can we play on the West Coast more often?
And can we not have Carter Hart in goal? Wow. I can't believe I just said that. Can we take this picture down? Wow.
So how do you feel about them overall right now at this point?
They're exactly what a young team is. Good game, bad game.
Right.
I read an article today by Chris Terrian, and I had no idea that the Ducks were the worst team in all of hockey. I thought we owned that right, but apparently the Ducks were the worst team in hockey. We go out there and beat up on them, and I don't know. I just they're so young, and they're you talk about injuries. My gosh, I mean that whole team has just been decimated with injuries. Now Carter Hart's trying to get back from a concussion. This new young Swiss goalie for Arison playing lights out. Take your time, Carter. Take your time. Get well. I don't know. It's you talk about a team you can't figure out. There you go. You could put the Flyers right next to the 76ers. They play in the same building. So I guess they go from one night to the next, not knowing what you're going to get. Oh boy.
That's funny.
He watches over me every night. She's a gem. She's talking about the extra large Carter Hart photo that's part of our bedroom attire. Yeah, for those interested in my Carter Hart infatuation or love affair or whatever you want to call it. But 3 in a row on the West Coast. Come home tomorrow night. They play the Phoenix Coyotes. You guys remember the name Shane Gostisbehere?
Shane Gostisbehere, yeah.
Well, he's playing some pretty incredible hockey for them. So, and it's 90s night down at the Wells Fargo Center tomorrow night. So they're bringing a lot of the guys back from the 90s teams. So
it's interesting how players go away from here and they get better.
How did I know that comment was coming?
I mean, it's a shame. I mean, we couldn't find that, move or whatever it was to give him the ability to be able to play that here.
Again, how many coaches did he have here when he was here? Three coaches, 3 different coaches, 3 different systems. He didn't get along with anybody because nobody wanted to let him play his style of hockey, and that's what you get.
Right. Oh yeah.
So that was a super fast Flyer segment.
Yeah, but I mean, they're playing well though. They're doing doing the things. I mean, but we've seen them go through these and then they lose 10 in a row after that. But it's good to see that they're Tortorella's getting them going, and seeing the backup goalie. Maybe like you were saying, maybe it's time to possibly look into breaking this down, and maybe Carter Hart is a piece that you can move, to help the team out if you have another guy that's in the wings.
Yowzer.
That'll help my collection.
Him and Joel Beach, set him out of town. See how many tickets. There'll be no tickets sold.
Wow.
Well, not true. I mean, but it's one of those things where the Flyers are at that point where you need to break it down, completely, and if you
tear it down.
Yeah.
Tear it down. Now I'm afraid they're going to win too much, and they're not going to get the first round pick
for Bedard,
the first overall pick.
Well, it'll be our luck though. Anyway, we're here in Philadelphia. They'll have the worst record in hockey, and then they'll lose the lottery, and we'll end up drafting 10th. I mean,
oh my. Hey, real quick, let's talk some baseball. 40 days away, pitchers and catchers.
Yeah.
Hey, it's kind of baseball related, and Anthony, I'm gonna drag you back into the show because this was an awesome thing. Did you catch any of the Winter Classic game?
Only bits and pieces afterwards. I didn't get to see it. I was at work that day, but I saw bits and pieces.
Well, the players came dressed as baseball players.
Yeah.
From their respective teams, and the Pirates, the Penguins were dressed as 1925 Pirates.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
that's something they were good.
Yeah, that's the one. So the Pirates and the Penguins posted that, and then on the Pirates feed, I would say 95% where I wish they would play for our team currently, talking about the hockey players. So, yeah. No, I think it's a very nice tribute to do that, and I don't know.
That was cool. That was
very
very
make
cool.
The choice where they're going way in advance, like a Super Bowl, or how do you know where their next games are that are outside?
I think it's just random.
I only say it because they've been talking about this Pirates.
I know they're doing another one this year. This Winter Classic stuff has been good for the NHL.
Yeah.
They put it up at Fenway Park, and two great franchises, and in the Bruins and the Penguins, and I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool to tie in another sport with their sport.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just thought that was, it was genius. Whoever thought of that, whoever brought that to be, is give them a raise. That was genius.
Yeah, it was neat to see.
Yeah.
I wish they would have that game in State College. I don't know. There must be a reason they can't do it, because people have been talking about it since it started.
They've been talking about that for years.
There must be some logistical rule that they can't do it. I don't understand what. I mean, you have way more people. You have way people for a college football game that they can handle. I don't understand.
Oh no, they could
Maybe
very
they don't.
easily.
Maybe they think there'll be too many fights because it's everyone's right in the middle. I don't know why, but that would be a hell of a game.
They now sell alcohol at college football games, so that's not the excuse anymore.
Yeah. I don't know.
And Beaver Stadium is plenty big for a nice skating rink. The owner of the Buffalo Sabres, help me out, Lauren Badula. I believe his name is.
Badula. Yeah, he's got the hockey team up there too.
He built the rink and got Penn State Division I hockey, going there. As all the ingredients to be awesome. You bring the Flyers and Penguins, together up there. That would be so awesome.
That'd be a fun crowd. I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
You might need some security, a couple security.
Yeah, well, we need that anyway. Hey, real quick, baseball season, 40 days, pitchers and catchers.
Yes. Joe wants to know if the Phillies did enough for this year. Or do you
Did
think
they
should
do
have done
enough?
more?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they did. I do. Because I think you still need to give a couple of these young guys a shot.
Right. Yeah.
I think you give a couple of these young guys, an opportunity in spring training, to make the club. I mean, we were talking about it today, about Derek Hall getting a chance to, maybe be more than just a DH. Maybe he gets to play a little first base, and maybe Rhys Hoskins, DHs.
Right.
So what's cool about the whole thing? They now have more options than when they finished out the season.
Correct.
And they were in the World Series last year. So how cool is that?
Exactly.
So
yeah, I mean, pitching's gonna be fine, Joe. I mean, they added Taijuan Walker to the rotation, and you got Andrew Painter, lurking in the wings if he's gonna take his step, or if not, you got Bailey Falter to hold on that fifth starter spot.
You got to find out whether these guys can get it done. How many years we figured it out with Ranger, right?
Right.
A couple of years. Finally, Ranger, starts games, finishes games, comes in the middle, he does it all.
Right.
So yeah, I think the bullpen, with Sir Anthony Alvarado and now Craig Kimball, that's a solid three, to close out a game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? 7, 8, and 9. You get 6 out of your starter.
You're set.
I got to think, can we win 90 games? Can we steal the division? Is that possible?
I mean, they should be able to. I mean, they should definitely be able to get, into that mix, 90 plus wins. I mean, what was it? ESPN only had them for 85 wins, which I don't understand that, but they got like you said, you're in the World Series. You had Trey Turner, Taijuan Walker, Craig Kimbrell, and
you got the other relief pitcher out of
Boston. Yeah,
you got another arm. So no, I think and you're going to get Harper back probably July, August,
right?
Just in time for the the trade deadline. Maybe you pick up a chip or two at the trade deadline if you feel a need for something. Isn't that what good teams do?
Right. And just look at it this way too. Brandon Marsh is going to be your starting center fielder this year, which you had 24 of them played for you last year. So, it's just having that little stability as well out there in center field, that what's going to go on, and he gets, if he hits just a little bit, 270, 280, it'll be a bonus out there.
God, if he could hit 250, it'd be a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of, you got to just stay healthy. Is the big thing. Like we're finding out with all sports here in Philadelphia, you got to stay healthy, and it's a long season, and they'll be fine. They'll be right there.
70 days, Sean and Stephanie's wedding. I got a funny feeling that's going to be on like the cover of, a national magazine. How can we make that happen?
You got to make a few calls.
We got to make a few calls.
Yeah.
We got to make a few calls.
Or just take the picture down to the Ocean City boardwalk, and you can get it on a magazine.
Now you sound like me. Now you sound like me. Oh boy. Hey, great night, great conversation. You guys have any closing comments? Anything you want to leave us with?
I just wanted to clarify the 1925 Pirates. Did they have a bit higher payroll than this year's Mets or Pirates? Or
No,
not?
it was about the same. But considering it was 100 years ago, that it all lines up.
Oh, but I think they were in the World Series. If that means anything.
Well, there you go. Payrolls, you got a little less payroll, and you're good. You're going to be right there in the World Series.
The Phillies currently have the third highest payroll, so no one should. Not that anyone is here, but no one in Philadelphia should be complaining about anything right now. They got the third. It goes the Mets, the Yankees, I think, and then the Phillies are right there. So
right. And beers just went from $15 to $20.
Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure.
You want one? There you go.
Yep.
Maybe you can find Jamie Hoskins at the beer line out there at the Yingling Brewery, and she'll be buying.
Yep.
She just became more popular now.
Yes, more popular than her husband. That's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. Well, hey, again, Happy New Year to you, and all of you. It's been 22 was a great year. I can only hope that 23 is as good.
Yes, it will.
So thank you guys for having me tag along.
You're welcome.
You got it.
Help me bring this show along. And we got what do we got? We got we're 2 weeks out from Hanrahan's Irish Pub and Matt Stairs. So mark it down. January 18th. I want to see a packed house.
Oh, absolutely.
So come on out and see Maddie. And maybe he can give us a few hitting tips.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he will.
There you go. All right, guys. Have a great week. And we'll see you next Wednesday night.
Next Wednesday. See
Take
you later.
care.